Okay, let me know if you can see my screen, please. Good. So I'll make it bigger. So is it big enough now for you to see? Can you see clearly? Perfect. Okay, so quickly let's look at what we'll be doing today. So go to our website QATestCraft.com. So going forward, we will be using this our website, as I said earlier. So this is what we'll be using. We still have some dummy tests on it, so all of these are going to be settled. So because of my because I was down, my health condition, I really couldn't finish it up. But now that I'm beginning to pick up gradually, I will um do justice to some of all this. And then, so for us to test, you go to testing and UI practice, then e-commerce. These one also have a lot of dummy things too, that a lot of sections that I have not really finished setting up. So, but currently what we have on ground is enough for us to actually do whatsoever we want to do. So quickly, we will be looking at, if you look at our week 5 curriculum, we will be looking at API automation using Postman. So we'll continue from where we stopped on week 4, right? I believe everyone can hear me clearly and my voice is not echoing. Is my voice audible enough and clear enough for all to? Okay, good. So we will just, all you need to do is for you to test APIs. Now these you test these for UIs. So when we want to start testing UI, this is where we'll be coming. So you just add to cart, you log in. So for you to log in, you enter email. So let me just say Sam at whatever, your mail or any whatever you just put .com, login. Now this, like I said earlier, this is a mock API and everything here is mocked. What does that mean? I just copy this OTP and I'm pasting it here, then verify code. You can see that it has logged me in. I've been logged in as Sam. Look at it. I logged in as Sam, right? So now you can log out. So I can now add to cart and all that, checkout and all that. So look at the out of stock. So when you have out of stock, this is not going to be highlighted because of invariably you should not be buying something that is already out of stock, right? So these are the things we'll be testing for UI. But currently we are not testing UI. We've not gotten to UI. So when we get to UI, we'll be automating all of these things. Now, what we are testing currently is still API. So, and we've gotten to API automation. So what we'll be doing here is, so now for you to test your APIs, I have this testing guide. So if you look at this place, you can see our testing guide. So you see what we have here. You can see what we have here. Now this is, you scroll down to this section, API testing. So this is where we have our API instructions on document. This is where I put the documentation for us to test our APIs, right? So the login verify OTP flow. So it's a post request because you are sending an information. I believe at this state, we all know what post request is, get request, delete, and all that. So for those who just came in new, who might not really understand what these things means, please refer back to our old curriculum. You will be able to get yourself acquainted with these things. So for you to send, so the first thing you do is to send OTP. That is what happened when I did login here. So that's the first thing. You send OTP. So once you enter your email address and you send login code, look at it, send login code, an OTP is actually sent, right? Now, but the thing is that this OTP, because it is a mock API, it is not actually sent, that OTP is not sent to your email. The reason is because I'm not using real data. I'm not using a database for this application. And the reason I'm not using database for this application, I've said that earlier, is because this is a testing playground, right? Testing playground, people are going to be coming here and be hitting your database. At the end of the day, the database will become so congested, and it will cost a lot of money for me to to actually set up a database on MongoDB and set up the infrastructure on AWS. That is going to cost me hell of money. I mean, thousands of US dollars, thousands of dollars. So normally, any website that is meant for testing, what they usually do is they use mock data. They don't use real database, right? So that is actually what I did here. I have to use mock data. What mock data does is that it mimic what real data does. You can see you can seamlessly log in, and OTP is being generated, and you could add to cart. You won't even know if you won't even know that this thing does not even have database, right? So we use mock data to mimic what the real data, what a real database will do. So that's actually what I developed this with. So when you send the OTP, the endpoint will gives you the OTP, and then you verify it. Once it's verified, it logs you in. So let's quickly go to our Postman and see what we can do with that. Okay, so this is our Postman. So I have the login OTP flow. There's literally nothing here. So the endpoints, remember, now let's look at what we have here. Not here, not here, here. Remember, look at this. The endpoint is saying is a post slash API slash auth slash send hyphen OTP. So this is what we'll be working with. Now this slash means that there's something before here, which is the base URL. And the base URL that we are using is this. This is our base URL. This is our base URL. If you remember when we worked with a JSON placeholder, we have to go and pick that full URL, their base URL. For those who worked with us while we are working with JSON placeholder, the same thing happens here. So these are our base URL. So when you pick the base URL, all you don't need to do is that base URL slash API slash auth slash send OTP. That gives you your full URL. So now that we've been able to um, get to understand what our base URL is, so you now understand what this is. So this is our base URL from here, right? Why this is the extension slash API slash auth slash send OTP. This is the extension, which is what I have here. We have here in our documentation. This. I don't know if I'm clear enough. Is anybody not understanding this part? I want to believe that everyone understands, right? If you understand, please yeah, okay, thank you. So let's quickly move on. Okay, so just type your question. Somebody is raising hand. Just type your question. Let's see. Someone is raising hand. I want to see your question. Type it on the. Sir, please, can you go back a little bit? What do you mean go back? I don't understand what you mean. You want me to repeat myself? Ah, okay, I'll try. It is well. How can we get the Postman collection? Ah, no, no, no. I won't be able to go back. So on that I have done that video. I won't that please refer back to, because this will not this will really, really take us back, as in far back, that we will miss this today's curriculum. How to get the Postman collection, right? We've done that. I think that should be in our first curriculum, second curriculum, if I'm correct. For those who were here, yeah. So please, just go back to the video. Isioma, please, what you do is get back to these people who came new. I understand that a lot of persons came new, and I apologize. I'm not just trying to be strict, please. We have these things done. We've done this, so it will not be fair us going back. Because if we do that next week, people who come new to say, please go back. It means we will not go forward. That's the honest truth. That is why I have the videos, for everyone. So refer back to the old videos. You see how you can get the collection. Can I get the link to the website? Of course, we will after this class. It will be posted, right? Isoma will do that. Thank you very much. So just follow what we do here so that you understand. Then later, when the link is sent to you, we have this video too is recorded. So the link will be dropped at the end of the day, to be dropped on YouTube, so that those who missed it will be able to go back to YouTube and rewatch it, right? And also those who want to practice will be able to go back and rewatch it and get some clue of what. No, Isoma, you shouldn't drop that video. That would distract a lot of persons here. They will leave this class and go start watching that. Please, you shouldn't. I said after this class, it should be dropped. Wasn't expecting that it should be dropped here. Please, let's not click on this, please, because there will be a lot of distractions. At the end of the day now, when you jump in, you're going to start asking me questions. You understand? And it will start taking me back again, which that will not be fair. You understand, please? Oh, it's not Isioma that dropped. It's someone else that actually dropped it. Okay, please, let's not drop the link here. It's not necessary here. After this class, let's concentrate on today's class, right? After this class, the link is there. It's open. It's open source. It's not paid, so it will always be there. Okay. Thank you, everyone, once again. So let's go back. Let's continue where what we're doing. So the here this thing keep popping up. We're going to handle it now, Postman, please. So here we have our base URL, which I explained. That's what we have here, right? So now this model that is coming up is Postman asking me to create it into a variable. So it's normal, right? Which we've done before, and we are going to do that right now. So now that we've got our base URL, all we just need to do is to put it into a variable, so that I will rest from Postman. Postman keep warning me. So we already know how to do that. You go to environment, or you can just come here, whichever. You can come to environment, and when you come to environment, you click on add, create new environment, right? So either you click here, or you see come here and click. It's the same thing, create new environment. Please zoom. I've already zoomed now. This is it not zoomed enough? It's over zoomed though. My system is out of shape. My system is out of shape. Can you not see it as it is? Is it not bold enough? Hello, everyone. Yeah. So if I over zoom it, it will be out of shape. So now we have, so I've gone to environment. Like I said, on a very quick one, you can just hit your environment here, because currently we don't have environment now, but you can also click here, go to environment, add. So we have new environment, and remember, you name it whatever you want to name it. So I can name this one what do I even name it? QA dev, whichever, or QA env, because here we don't have um dev, post, staging, and production. So I will just have one environment. So I just name it this. Excuse me. Now we have our um value, initial value and current value to be this. What did I just paste here? I this is our base URL, which is what I've been saying here. Look at it, our base URL. That's what I pasted. I copied it. You saw when I copied it from here. Excuse me. I copied it, or you can just come here and copy it. It's the same thing. Sorry. So you can just come to our base URL. This is the base URL and copy it here, right? So it's the same thing. And we'll go to our environment and paste it. So our initial value here is same at this point as current value. For anyone having issue with seeing the screen clearly, go to the trade. Okay. So this is this becomes our initial current value. Now we have to give it a name, a variable. So we call this let's call it base URL. Now we save, right? So can you see it? Now we've saved our base URL on our environment variables. So for those, if you see, for those who are new, please go back to our old videos. You see why we are putting it on environment and not global, on our, not global env, right? I've said all of these things in our past curriculum, and later, Isioma, you could. I pinned our curriculum, so because I'm taking this thing stage by stage. Taking it. So go back to the our announcement, the community group. You see the curriculum. Go through it. We have our past videos. Is there free for you to go watch? So you could carry and follow on to um follow up what we've done before. Okay, so now we set our environment variable. Now coming here, what we'll now do is to delete this. We no longer need it. And our braces, we open our braces. I should have been able to see it by now. Why am I not seeing it? Why am I okay? Because I've not picked it up. So if I pick, hold on, let's go back. So we have this our base URL. So let's go back to our collection. Okay, fine. So now we have it. You can now see that it's showing blue, right? Showing that, look at it now. You see that it's showing our base URL, right? So now we save it. You can see that that error is no longer coming from Postman. We now, because and we also do that for this one. Let's remove this now. We no longer need it. We'll put our braces here and then we pick our base URL. Good, we save. Now, so when we save here, the instruction says, let's go to documentation. So you are not just, I'm not just showing you how to just test, but also how to follow documentations. So this is documentation for those who started with us. You saw that when I was testing JSON placeholder, I had to go to their documentation and follow the documentation. I was always telling you, okay, let's go look at their documentation and see what the instruction they are giving on how to test. So you always do that. Always learn to do that. Read documentation, because documentation is there for you to actually to guide you on how to test, right? So if you look at the documentation we have here, it's saying first it's telling us there's a post request. We have to take note of that. Now, if you have see this, all these ones get, this is post, this is put, this is delete. So it will always give you instruction on what to do, right? Now, this one is a post request, and it's telling us once we put this URL, send OTP and display it in response. So it means that this is going to send OTP, right? And then display it in our response body. So let's go to, it means then let's look at it. We have an email. So of course, if you look at the URL, the when you are logging in, you have to log in with an email. So that becomes your, that is your body that is given. So here we have to put an email in JSON format, right? We have to put the email. Remember, you have to put your quotation mark, right? On JSON format, you have to put your quotation mark. If not, it will throw an error. You put your email and then colon, then the the user email. This can be any email. Take note of that. It can be any email. I just use user@user.com. It can be any email, whichever. But take note, this is mock. So when you put, somebody brought to my attention in that is not, the OTP is not sending OTP to the email. Instead, it is displaying it on the UI. And my response was because it's mock data. It's a mock API. It was not actually meant to send OTP to the email. It's real API that does that. This is a mock API. It will not send. It's just mimicking what real APIs do. I hope I'm making sense, please. Am I making sense? Thank you. Okay, so now you just put user. So let's put. Why is this not clicking? Okay, don't know what's happening. So let's put Samuel at user.com, whichever. So I'll hit my endpoint now. I'll click send. Now you can see that it has worked. First, I got my status code 200, and then success is true. OTP sent successfully to your email. Yes, because in real send, this is what we are expecting. OTP was meant to send to your email. So this image is being displayed, as though it is real. Then the email that the user entered is being displayed here, Samuel at user. If you notice, it was initially user and you had user here, but when I send this one now, you now have Samuel at user.com. If I change this now to something like John, if I change this to John, that is exactly what you're going to have. I'm not sure why my mouse is not clicking. If I change this to John at user.com or at anything.com, now if I click send, now it's sending. You can see that the email has now changed to John at user.com. Now OTP has been sent. Now this OTP that has been sent, that is what happens here. When you say sam at sam.com, whichever, anything that you put here. So long it follows emails pattern, OTP is being sent. Now when this OTP is being sent, you are not supposed to verify this OTP, which is the normal thing. This OTP is being sent to your email. Now I'm bringing it here. I've explained this. I don't want to start repeating it all over and over again. So this is the OTP that is sent to your email. So you are supposed to put it here, copy it and then paste it here. And once you send, it verifies the OTP and then logs you in. Now let's go back and put a fake OTP and see if it's going to log us in. sam@sam.com. Now we have this OTP. I copy it and paste. And now we have 88. Instead of 88, let me put 22. Now send. What did you say? Invalid OTP. Please try again. The OTP was wrong. So it did not log me in. So the first thing, before it logs you in, you can see that we still have login here. It has not logged me in. So before it logs you in, it first of all verifies the OTP that was sent. Is it the correct OTP that actually left the database? If it's not the OTP that left the system from the API level, then it throws back an error. If it's the same number, then it it triggers true and then logs you in. So let's go back to our OTP and then resend. Now we have this OTP. 613C00. So let's pick in and then go and verify. Now we'll come here and verify. We'll delete this and put this back. Then we hit send. Now the user is different, so we have to use exactly the same user, else it will throw an error. So we have to use the same user. We have john@user.com. So now we'll click send. It has logged us in successfully. Now it sends the token. This token is actually what keeps you logged in. This token is what identifies you, right? This is what keeps you, what tells the system that, okay, this is John that is logged in. Everybody have their unique token. Now the user, you have your user ID, you have your email. That email is John. Which role are you, an admin or customer? This is customer, not admin. Name John. This token expires in 24 hours, right? This is how I designed the API. So we have our status 200, login successful. Success is true, right? So this is actually what we're going to automate. So we're going to automate this. I will automate this one and then do a lot of assertions that we didn't do in curriculum 4. Then I will drop this for you as an assignment, and I will appeal to everyone here. Please do the assignment, because this is what will get your hands dirty and actually make you learn, right? Are we communicating? Are you guys following me? Okay, thank you. So let's go back to um now let's pay attention, everybody, because this is where the real issue is. So if you see here, in our week 4, I took my time to explain what happens here on this script. Now we want to automate. So let's save what we have here. No, yeah, good. If you see, this is our response body and this is our request body. Request body is where you put the information that you want the Postman, or you want the API to work with. Then it triggers. Once you click send, it sends to the API and then it gives you a response. This is your response, right? Now, if you want to automate any field in your request body, I did mention, can somebody tell me where I should do that in the script? Which section I should do that in the script? I want to unmute. I want to unmute. I need somebody to explain why that has to happen. So raise your hand. Raise your hand. Just raise your hand. I want this to be an interactive class. Is anybody raising hand? Does anybody know? Okay, I'm saying Israel is raising hand. I need more than one person raising hand, though, please. I'm saying, okay, Israel, can you unmute yourself and let us know? Yeah, I'm seeing some hands. Israel, you can unmute yourself and
Yes, good afternoon.
yeah, good
So,
afternoon.
for the automation, yes, that will be done at the script side.
Yes,
Yes.
script.
So,
Now, look at what I asked. What I ask is, I want to automate. I want to automate on a field on request body, not response body, on request body. So, which section of the field? We have two sections here. We have pre request and post response. So, where will this automation takes place? This automation that I want to do here on request body now, and why? That is the question. So, yes, somebody is raising hand. Peter is raising hand. Yeah, Peter, you can unmute yourself and answer.
Is pre-request
Pre-request. Okay, why is it pre-request?
because we are going to make use of we want the the body payload to be processed before it comes out as a response.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. But anybody who does not really, who was not in this class, will not be able to understand um what you explain. You actually get exactly the point. Yeah. Can anybody put it better? Peter, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Is there anybody who can explain it better? Blessing, I'm seeing Blessing raising hand. Yes. Unmute yourself and Blessing. You can unmute yourself now.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you.
So,
Mhm.
on what Peter said, um, once there is already a response in the preview, for example, if you want to hack into the API, is the prerequisite that you are going to input your payload so that you can. This is already done already. So, if you want to input other things into the API, I'm going to use the pre-request body instead of the post request. Don't need that.
Uh, I'm not sure I really get that very well. I'm not really sure. I understand. You know what you are. I understand what you are saying, but I'm putting myself now on the level that I don't know this thing at all before. Yeah, Isioma is raising hand. No, Isioma, it's not you, please. It's not
Okay.
you. I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to let you talk for now.
Okay, that's very understandable.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so blessing. You get. I understand you what you are saying. So, but I'm putting myself on the level that I just don't know this thing. I need something. I need someone who can explain it better for me. Is it only Sioma? Okay, let's go. Okay, Sioma, you can. You can.
Okay, sir. We'll use the pre-request as the name implies pre.
Sioma,
That
your
is a
network is bad.
condition that you
Can
use
you?
to run. That is a condition that is used before an API request is sent. So before we send an API request, we use the pre-request.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, thank you, everyone. So, forgive me. I have to mute everyone because I would not want distractions when I'm talking. So, yeah, I sincerely appreciate everyone's input, and it encourages me that you guys are actually learning and understanding. Now, for those who a lot of persons are new here, so when you see go back to our previous courses, you're going to get it better. But like I said it earlier, when you want to automate any field on request body, remember this is your request body and this is your response body. They are two different things. This request body is given to you by the developer. Remember that you, the tester, you are not the one who owns this. It will be given to you by the developer who developed the API. This is your request body because this is what you send for you to actually get a response that you'll be testing with. You get it. Now, this request body is your API key. It comes in here. They is given to you actually by the like I said before. Let me not just keep repeating myself. So you have it handy while you want to test. Now, if you want to automate any section of this field, where you go to do that is pre-request, and I will explain why. Now, for you to automate any section of this field, it means that we have a static field that you want to become dynamic. We all know what static is and what dynamic is. Static is something that is static, something that is just standing by, is not changing. And dynamic is something that is frequently changing, right? So if you want to automate anything that is on this request body, it means that you are changing, you want to change a field that is static to dynamic, right? Instead of you, man, because normally what I'm doing here now, you can see me manually coming here, changing to Sam, changing to John, changing to user, all that. as a tester, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be able to dynamically generate an email here, right? So for me to dynamically generate an email here, it means that I have to change this static field into a dynamic field. And now, for me to do that, what that means is that on my script, I have to put it on pre-request. Now, the reason is because, remember I told you, everything you have here is given to you by the developer, because the API needs this input to work. Without, if I remove, look at, let me remove here and send, you are going to see something. What did you see? We got an error. Can you all see my screen? You can see, sorry, you can see my screen. What do you see here? Error, data is null. Look at it, data is null. It needs data to work, and this data is provided by the developers for you. So now, if you want to automate this information, the API needs data to work. So it means that this information must be valid before it gives you response. So Postman actually have a section that assists with that. So what Postman does is that before Postman runs your script, right? Before Postman runs here, Postman will come to this place and check if there's a code here. On pre-request, it will check this section. Is there any code here? Now, if there's no code here, fine. It did not see anything here. Then it will now come to the body and run your request and then throw a response to you. But if there is a code here, it will first of all run that code and then carries the instruction that you've asked Postman to do here. Because for you to write a code here means that there's something you want it to do for you. So it will carry that instruction, hold that value. Now, invariably, it means that you want it to impute that any value it's holding here into this body. So it will run this place first, hold that value, then come here. Wherever you now ask it to impute that value, it will impute it here and then run the request and give you a response. All these are theory. Let's do the practical so that you understand better. Now, we want to change this static field to dynamic. What do I mean? I don't want to be coming here and be manually putting email. It's not done. As a tester, you shouldn't be doing that, right? So what we now have to do is to come here and put a dynamic email. So Postman has let's go to Postman random variable. So they have what they call Postman random variable. Please, this, I will drop this link. I'll drop this link. I will drop it here. I will drop the link in our community so that I don't distract anybody here. This link will be dropped in our community because you need this link while you are working, while you are testing. So if you go through this link, we'll have so many variables from Postman. This is GUID. In case you need a UID value, it just generates. This is not only what you have. This is just an example. It will just keep generating different UID per every test that is being run. This timestamp, ISO timestamp, and you just check for. Now what we want is we want email. So let's go look for email. We need email. We need a unique email to be generated for us each time we run our test. Do you understand? Are you guys following me? We need a unique email each time we run our test. A new email should be generated. A new email should be generated. So we look for email. This is internet and IP address. This is name. So this is random first name. You can see it, random first name. Different names should just be generated every time you run test. So let's continue. Look for email. We have phone, address, and location. Let's look for email. We'll scroll images. This is images. Finance. There should be email. Dates. So you see domains, email, and username. So we have random domain name, random domain name is email. Look at it, random email. So this is what we I'm sorry that my video is not on, please. I did not explain that. Usually my video used to be on, but like you all know, I travel out of my state, so I'm currently in a hotel room and the light is very, very dim. They are actually using solar system, so they've not powered the normal light. So the light in the room is not very bright. Hence, I cannot on my video. That's why my camera is not on, right? Are we unclear on that? Yeah. Normally, you should have seen my face. So, because that is how I usually do that. Okay. Okay. So, someone is raising hand. Drop your question on the chat. Drop your question on the chat. I will respond to that. Okay. So, drop your question on the chat while so I can respond to that. Um. So what we now have to do is to go random email. That is what I want us to do. So we select this. I want to select it. And remember you have dollar random email. Take note of that. So I'll come back to our Postman. So I'll say let's remember in our week 4, we talked about all these JavaScript variables. So we are going to, I think in future curriculum now week 6 or week 7, I can't remember, we have JavaScript course, so that I will take you on, you will understand better on this let, const, and how to actually use variables. So when you want to create a variable in JavaScript, you use let or const. Initially we're using var, but we no longer use var, we now use let or const. So I want to create a variable, and in our week 4 I did justice to that, you know, what variable is and how you create the variable and all that. So I will that is why I keep begging that we should be in the class, so that because you understand it better when you're in the class, you can ask your question. Somebody raise hand. Have you dropped your question? I should be able to see your question. You've not dropped your question. Please drop your question. Type it in the chat and then I will see it and respond, and I'll respond to it. So sorry. Okay. So I'll say let what do I call it now? The variable. Oh, it was a mistake. Okay, fine. It's fine. Let base email or email. Let me just name it email. Let email equal PM postman. So when you are writing postman script, always put that PM. That shows that this is a postman script. So now postman variable. Want to use postman variable. That's it. This is what I've shown here. Want to use postman variable. So this is how you put it. Postman, oh, so PM variable. You can see it has highlighted here. You can see what it's telling me here. Postman variable. That is actually what we want to use, right? So we say, does Postman understand any other language or just JavaScript? Postman is built on JavaScript, so what it understands is JavaScript. You cannot write Python in Postman. Um you cannot write Java in Postman. I'm not sure, but I think it's only JavaScript that Postman actually work with, right? That to the best of my knowledge, though I'm not too certain, but I believe it's JavaScript that Postman work with. But you can always Google that. Yeah, Google can always give you that answer. So, but Postman works with JavaScript. Yeah, because I've never seen anybody writing Python or Java or any other code inside Postman and it works, but it's more of JavaScript. So now PM variable. Now I want to use Postman variable. So I've dropped it there, Postman variable, right? Now put dot. dot. There's something I'm going to put again now. Replace in. Replace in. I will explain this replace in. Please take note of these things step by step. Once you understand these steps, all this code will become very easy for you. Replace in. Then we now put your quotation column, your brackets. I'm sorry. All of this thing just wraps my head and confuses me. So you put your bracket, and then we have our quotation mark. Now, for us to use Postman variable, take note of this thing I want to tell you. This is Postman variable. For us to use Postman variable, we always wrap it in two braces, right? Which is what you usually know as curly braces. Always wrap it in two braces. Take note of that. So we'll put our column and put our two braces. Now we'll pick that Postman variable we want to work with. Which of this is what we want to work with. Let's copy it. Random email. So we'll come here and just paste it. Control V. Right? This is the Postman variable I'm working with. Now, look at the instruction I gave. Now look at the code. Now this is the real code. Let me delete this. Let me delete this so that you understand. Good. This is the real code here. PM, which is Postman, dot variable. This dot variable, I have explained it. It means that I want to use Postman variables. So PM dot variables. Now I will now click replace. I will dot replace in. I will explain this replacing. Now I'll open brackets, and then in my column I'll put the variable name, the Postman variable's name I want to use. Now this is what I have. This is what I have. This is the variable name. This is the variable name. This is comment. I've talked about this comment. Comment does not run your code. Comment is just to explain what your code is all about. This variable name, I have this braces, double braces, dollar random email. This is what renders this random email. Now, what Postman now does is that if I console.log this, what I will get is if I run this without replace in, now PM variables this, do you know what I will see? This is what I will see, like this. So instead of, and it will throw an error because this is not what we're looking for. So instead of us to get all of this, right, Postman now puts this replace in the code. They now put this replace in dot replace in. So this replace in removes all of these braces and this dollar and triggers this random email. And then instead of you now getting this this as a test, you now rather get emails like this. I don't know if I'm making sense. Am I making sense? Good. So that is actually what replacing does for you. So that replacing removes all those braces and then triggers the random email to now goes to Postman. You get your email instead of you getting this test as it is like this. So this is the code. Now, this is what actually does this function for us. But you see, all of these function, we want it to be in a variable. You see, it's a long code. I've explained this. Some code will be far longer than this in 10 lines and all that, right? All these functions. You want all that function to be inside a variable. So we call it inside a name. So we'll just give it a small name, create a variable for it. Everything that, when this one run, everything that happens inside will now go inside that variable. So we'll just come here and say, so for you to create that variable, use the word let. So let email, we give it email equal all of this. You can name this anything. Now, what that now means is that if we now want to reference this code, instead of us copying this line and paste it where we want to use it, we'll just copy this email and paste it, this email. I'm not sure why my mouse is not working well this evening. We'll just copy this email, right? This email here and paste it. So when we reference this email, what we are just referencing is this line of code. Everything that happens here is what we are referencing. I hope that I'm making sense. Okay, now that we have written this code, that is not all. Remember, now there's something I want us to now do. If you look at this, if you look at code, thank you. This is very good example. If you look at this email, see, the email is starting with capital letter, capital letter. I don't want that. See, there are some capital letters, so I don't want that, right? I want everything to be in small letter, right? So JavaScript has a method that handles that. So all we just need to do is to put it, so to say dot, what is that again? Dot to lowercase, to lowercase. So because it's a method, we put this our bracket, right? So is it possible to write random email instead of going to get a random? Wait, let me get your question very well. I don't understand what you're saying. Is it possible to write random email instead of going to get a random email online? I will post man get the code that way. No. So if you just write, let me, if you just write random email here and you did not come here to pick it, Postman will not even know where, because you've not written a code. What you've done is that you've written a sentence, random email. So your code is actually going to fail. It will like, what is random email? Right? So you have to actually, this is, hold on, I'm looking at something, to lowercase. This case is in capital letter, to lowercase. So if we don't want to use Postman's email, then you have to write your own function to generate an email. Postman has already done all of that, right? And then throw the API down for you. This is an API that Postman they've done the function, and then do just drop the API for you. So okay, with this variable, with this variable automatically generates a random email from our database for you. They've written that function, done that. So kept series of emails in their database that is randomly generated. I don't know if I'm making sense. So if you don't want to follow Postman's procedure, then you now have to write your own function by yourself to generate your own random email. That we are going to do on um in advanced section, right? Here now we are using Postman random email generated, which is, I believe this is going to be well understood for every beginner here. Now, when we now go to advanced course and we're doing Postman automation, you will now be seeing that it is not what we did in beginners class that we are treating, we are doing on advanced class. There we are going to be writing different functions, JavaScript functions. You understand? We will not be doing this one. This at this stage now, this is for beginner, as in this is this level. At that stage, we'll be taking it higher, writing functions with JavaScript to generate these emails, concatenating concatenating email with maybe some digit of numbers, so that no matter what, you can never get exact email. I don't know if I'm making sense. So that is what we'll be doing in the advanced, on the pro class, right? So when we get there, we'll handle that. But if you don't want to follow this, then you have to write a function by yourself to generate the email. Have I been able to answer your question? Modupe, have I been able to answer your question? Let me know if, or you are still confused. If, give me a thumb up or thumb down If I've been able to answer your question, give me thumbs up. If I've not been able to answer your question, give me thumbs down. Then maybe I can. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now that I have written this function, the next thing now is now for me to set this function into a variable so that we can now reference it in our pre-request, right? In our request body, sorry. So we'll now say pm dot environment is picking it for me. So I want to set it into my environment variable here. Remember, no global variable. I explained the difference in all this. So pm environment dot set. This is what you use to set your any value into your environment. Once you want to set any value into your environment, you use dot set, right? In Postman, then we'll put our bracket, and this actually takes two parameters. You can see, look at it. It takes a key, which is a string, and value, which is any. When we mean the value can be any type, it could be a number, it could be a boolean, it could be string, right? It could be string, could be number, it could be boolean, just any. You understand? So these are the two params that it takes. We have the first one, the key, which is a string, and the second one is the value. So the first one, which is the key, is going to be this. So remember, we have set all of these functions now into this variable. So we set it, say, no. The brackets, there's a mistake. Yeah, the value is going to be this, exactly. Why? This is the key that you are going to see on your environment variable, right? This key is actually what this is what you'll be saying on your environment variable. So what name do we call this? We can call this random email. Let's call it random email. Random email is okay now, right? This is what just entered my head. So because it's randomly generated. So now what happens is that this one here is what you'll be seeing on your environment variable once you set it. Let's go to our environment variable. Here now, once I hit that send and it worked, you see is automatically going to set it here on this variable. As you see random image here, then you'll now see the image generated on your current value. So that is actually the name that I put it here. So whatever name you put it is what you see in your environment. I don't know if I'm making sense. Which this one is what I have here. This variable that I've set here that carries out this computation. So this will actually carry out the computation, right? Now, once it carries out this computation, it will now hold that email that it has fetched from Postman, and then go and set it in your environment with this value, with this variable name, this name, random email. So let's save. And normally when you are writing in your English, when you are done with your sentence, you put full stop. When you are writing code, when you are done, you put semicolon. So we are done here, we'll put semicolon. So I will click send. Let's check our body. Thank you. Now I have done this on pre-request. Now look at what now happened. I will copy this random email because this random email is what I'm now setting on my environment variable. Remember, before this body run, Postman will come to pre-request and check, is there any code? It will run this now, carry out this function, set this random email into the environment variable, and then it will now come here. So here, I'm no longer generating it manually. I now want it to be dynamic. What now happens here? I'm picking random email. Please, if you have any question, if you are confused, let me know. So Okay, let me run first. You understand better. Now, I now have the random email here. So let me run. I'll run now. It's running. Why did I have error? No. Why am I having error? Just hold on, Peter, please. I want to check why. Oh, now do you see where the issue is with my code? I am not. This one is a variable that I've set. So this is not a string. This is not a string, but I mistakenly put it as string. Now let me remove this so that you see again. Let me remove this. I want to show you something. Because so this is actually how you debug when you are writing your code. Now I put dot set. Now look at this. Did you see key is a string? The value is not is any. Do you understand? Yeah, you could put it as string. That is if you've not, it could be anything. If um if you've not computed, if there's nothing, there's no computation for it to run, then you could just put it as string. It will carry that string and go and set somewhere and go and set wherever you ask it to set it. But here we have a computation here and we've set a variable here. So this should not actually be a string. So we have our, oh, my mouse is just messing me up. So I'm really sorry. This email will come here, not as a string, right? Did you see that? Let email equal any, right? So that is not a string. Now I save and let me run. Exactly, the code is now running. So what did you see here? You see kc70@hotmail.com. Now I want to run it again before we go to environment. I want to run it again. Remember, look at our body. It's now randomly picking from random email. I want to run it again. Take note of this email. Take note of this email. Let me run it again. You see that is another email that is going to be generated. Look at what we have now. Boris16@hotmail.com. I want to run again. Him59. So you see that this email at yahoo.com, this email is now being randomly generated. Now let's go to our environment. Let's go to our environment. This is our environment, QAENV. I did not put this. I did not manually set this. All of this was what I did in that code. Have I been able to make sense? Is this, are you people getting this now? You see that random email I was trying to explain? This is it here. So look at the email now. So what happened now? Let me now explain what now happened. What happened is that now I have put this now for Postman to run. But before Postman runs here, which is pre-request, well, I'm sorry, which is our request body, I told you, if first of all, this is the first place Postman checks. Is there any code on pre-request for me to run? Now he came here, he found code. And what happens? There's a computation here. There's a computation here. It runs that computation. And all we have said is whatsoever you have in this computation, we've assigned it to this variable called email. Hold it. Let email hold that computation. So this computation is, what we have done here is very simple. Come here, pick a random email from Postman random variable email, Postman random variable. So it picks that email. It just picks one per time, right? It picks that email, assign it to this. Email is holding it. Now it comes to the next line. What is the next line now doing? What is instruction in the next line? The next line says set whatsoever that email now has. This email, whatsoever that you now have as email, that email you have, set it inside environment and then name it random email. And it does that. Look at it. So it goes to environment. It automatically set it for us. So we now have random email. And then current value, the email that you pick, each time you run, it will set it. Now let's go and run again so that you see that. Look at our environment variable. Excuse me. Look at what we have, Kim 59. Now let's go back to our collection and run again. So now we have americo.simonis@yahoo.com. Let's go back to our environment. What did you just see? Same. So when that code is run, it picks it and bring it here and then hold it here. Now, when it's now finished running that section when it's finished running this section, right? That email that it picks is being held in our environment. It set it there, and then it will now come here and run. Now, when it now comes here, the instruction here is very simple. The email here is now saying, I don't have a static email for you here. Go to environment variable and look for this random email. Pick whatsoever you have and use it to run. And that's exactly what it does. It picks whatsoever it sees there and then use it to run. And we have our response. Have I been able to make sense? Thank you. So do we have any question? Okay, somebody is putting thumbs up. The thumbs up means no question or that you did not understand what I have explained. What does it mean? Please type on the um just type it, let me know. Do you have question? Can we also use this method to get random phone numbers? Yes, of course. We have random phone number. Let's look for there's a place we passed it now. This domain name, email, and username. But remember, those phone numbers are not real phone numbers. They are just for testing purpose. There is phone number for you here, and it's usually, I think it should be, you see you have phone here, so it's usually US phone numbers, right? So you can only generate random phone number, but these are not real phone numbers, right? They are test phone numbers. So you can generate phone numbers, and you can actually generate a whole lot of things. So, but if you now want to generate your own custom phone numbers, you will now have to write function for that, right? Okay, so um that is it. So I will just try and do one or two automation now on the response body, right? My body is already shaking me. I'm just recovering from I'm just recovering. So, and with the journey I've done today, I've really stressed my body. So my body is already giving me signal to go and rest. So let me just put one or two assertions. So what we do here is assertion. I actually want to do, I have the intention of doing so many assertions here. Let me see how fast I can do that. Please, let's just follow up. So that I can end this, we can end this as soon as possible in the next 10-15 minutes. We are done. So the main thing I believe we've all gotten is well understood. So let's now go to the next one, which is post response. So post response is where you work on this section of the response body. So here, the first thing is I want to check the status code. We've done this before. So usually I'll say PM test because I want to test. So we also have here, we use a function in our previous class. I talked about this what we do here is that we use a function. So the first one, um, but before the function, we have to define what the function is all about, right? So we'll say check status code. Okay, so we can now say function. Okay, so now we can have our function. We can now create our function. What do we want? We want to check our, so we say response. Remember, we are checking our response body. Response have to have what? Status. We've done all of these in our week 4. To have status what? 400, sorry, 200. So that's the first. Not dot to please. That's why it's throwing that error. It was a mistake. So to have status 200. Now, if you see the when we ran the first, when we ran, there was no test. But now that we've written this test, now let's save. You are going to see that we are going to have our test result. So let's run again. You can now see that, oh, I zoomed this thing. So I can't even see the test. But the test is hidden though. So let's go to, I'll just, because I zoomed it, right? Everything is hidden here. So we go to test results. So you can see that we have it here, pass, check status. Can you all see it? If you can see, yeah. So I have to click here because I zoom. So if I reduce it to normal, you see that everything, you can see it here now, right? But I want it to be bold so that you can see. Okay, so if you want, so this is the body, is everything is working fine. Now, so the next one we want to assert is these sections. So if you look at these sections quickly, let's assert these sections first. The status, we have status 200 and message this, then success true. So for us to do that, we have to get our response body, everything inside the response body, right? We've done this before. For those who see practice our week 4 or who are in the class, you remember it's not going to be new. So we'll say const, you can call it any name. I want to create a variable. So you use either const or let when you're creating variable. Now the difference is const is that when you use const, you don't reuse that variable. It cannot change. But when you use let, it can change. We explain this better when we go JavaScript so that I don't even confuse you more, please. So const, what do I call it now? Call it JSON data. JSON data, yeah, data is equal PM dot response, everything in response. Now, this response has different sections. You can see that we have JSON, we have XML, we have HTML, we have JavaScript, we have raw, hex. So response dot what? We want response dot JSON. Take note of this. So this is not actually it's not difficult once you just understand all of this. So the response comes in different formats, right? It comes in all of these formats. So if you click it, you see the different format it comes with. So we want ours to be on JSON format. Ours is on JSON format. So it should be on response.json. Then you put your bracket. So what we are saying is that when we get our response, everything inside response.json should be on this variable name, variable called JSON data. So instead of us now copying all of this computation, we just put JSON data. So when we refresh JSON data, you know that this is everything inside the response. Now, what we're now saying, so let's take this const up, is the best practice. So since let's take it up. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we can now say, what do we want to confirm now? We want to confirm that we have status code, right? Okay, so we'll pm dot test. So we'll go back to our function again. So we've already done status code, so no need of repeating status code. Let's just confirm success. So let's confirm success in response body. So I want to confirm that it is true. So it will be true. So this will now be comma. I'll have a function. Can you guys see my screen? So with this function, all we just need to do is to say pm. We are expecting, you can see that it's highlighted expect. So now, what are we expecting? We're expecting this now, JSON data, sorry. This JSON data, remember, JSON data, so we'll just pick this variable, JSON data. Oh, my mouse is just messing up. So JSON data. We are expecting JSON data to have dot property to have property. And what property are we expecting? We're expecting property string success. We're expecting success. And that is not just all. We want that true. This success to be what? True. To be true. Let's run. Now let's look at our test results. You can see confirms response body to have property true. So this is actually how you carry out your assertion. So if you want to test the other ones, which other ones do we have in our response? Let's go to our body. Let's go to our body. We have message. Now we have message. How do we actually test message? Message is not going to have property. We're not going to, yes, it will have property message. Now, to include this, right? So let's do that because I just wanted to show, I want to show you different ways of asserting different sections. So to have message, confirm message. I don't want to type so much again. Confirm to have property message. Now I'll remove this. Confirm property message. That's all I want, right? Now I'll now put this message we have here has message. So I will now say this message that includes any of these words. So I can just copy this word OTP sent. So as I say dot that include this. string OTP. I don't know if am I making sense? So this is actually how you assert different sections. Good. So if we run this again, so how many tests do you now have? I think we have 3 now. So let's run again. You run. Let's go to our test result. This failed. Confirm assertion, expect data sources true. There's something that I did not do right. There's something that I did not do right. Let me check. PM. I don't know if any of you could see my error here. So is expecting message. Thank you. Look at it. Look at it. Expect data success. True. To have property message. But instead, what it has, so my message, I put one S instead of what we have. Look at let's go to our body. What we have is message. So I have typographic here. Are you seeing it? So let me save. Let me save and run again. Now it has run. Let's check our results. See, it has passed. That typography caused that error. And you see all these kind of errors. It's so difficult to find. You just have to have your eagle eyes to see that. Okay. So that one S caused that this line of code to actually fail. So this is it. Now I want to do one more before I will call it a day. Maybe 1 or 2 more. So now let's look at this section. I want to copy this. Let's look at this section. You see that they are different. So I'm actually doing this because these are different sections. So because in your assignment, you'll be confused if I don't do this with you. So I'm actually kind of worn out. I'm just trying to push myself to give you this. Now, if you look at this now, this is on the first layer. Take note of this. This is on the first layer. If you look at this is on the first layer of the JSON body. Why this now falls into another layer? All of this falls into another layer under data. So this is an object. So yeah, this JSON body comes in as an object. This is the first layer on it. Now all of this now falls into all of this again. You can see that these ones are not inside this. Let me put this. These ones here, they are not inside these braces. These braces is embedded inside data. Thank you. So it means that this data is an object, and that object now houses all of this. So if you want to reference any field inside an object, please take note of this. Write it down. If you want to reference any field inside an object, first of all, reference that object dot that field. That is to say, we'll now look at the JSON body, right? Or JSON data. Okay, our variable name, we call it JSON data, right? JSON data dot data. Are you getting it now? To have property success. Now, if we now want to reference this property that is in success, we will now say JSON data dot success to have property true. Am I making sense? Thank you. So take note of this cadal of reference, right? Else your code will just be throwing errors and you'll be wondering, where is this error coming from? So let's reference. We have done this now, that is on the first layer. We now have this layer on this data object, right? So all of these now are inside this data object. So for us to reference this, it will now be JSON data dot data. Then we'll now reference anything we want to reference here. You get the point. So let us go back to our code and say, and data object, confirm data object. Please, whatsoever I type here, I don't really have that strength again to type much. So just confirm data object, right? So okay, data object success. Let's look at success. Confirm data object success. So for us to do that, we'll now say expect JSON data, right? Dot what data. Now you now know where this data is coming from, which is this. I'm referencing this now. To have property, what? Success. To have property success. I want it to have property success. I don't want this. So to have property success. So let's run our code. Remember, look at it. Remember that each time we run, if you are taking note, this email is actually changing. So let's go to our result. You see that it passed. Confirm data object success. So if we want to run another one, if we want to check another one too on the body, if we want to run this, so it's same thing, JSON data dot data, then to have property message, and all that. So if we now want to work, how about if we now want to reference, something. Now good, let's reference this, right? Let's reference this now, not this. So, and that will be the end for this class. I hope that you guys are not confused. Please, are you guys really following? Let me know if you are following, please. Okay, thank you. So confirm data object message OTP, right? So now want to confirm this. So we'll now say JSON data dot message message. Now what should we be having? It's not going to be proper. I don't want it to have property, because if we say this to have property this, I want it to let's just use to include. When you use include, it means that you can pick anything from the test, right? But when you use property, then you have to put everything inside, right? So we'll just say to include. So we'll remove this. To include this. Okay. JSON data dot message to include OTP sent. Yes. So let's hit send again. Okay, let's check our test results and see if we got it right. It passed. So at the end of the day, we have how many tests? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 tests that have passed. So if you look at this now, so when you are actually automating your post, let's go to body. So this is actually what it takes to automate your Postman. It's not more than this, right? This is on this starter level, right? When we get to pro class, there's more, and more to it is now when you now start writing your own function. You write different functions in your OTP, JavaScript functions in your Postman to give you more, actually do it exactly how you want it. Maybe you don't want to use, like somebody was asking if you can use a phone number. The phone number you are getting is not what you expect. The phone number you want is not what is it called, Postman is giving you. You write your function to give you what you want, or the email pattern that you want is not what you are, is not what Postman is giving you. You write a function to actually get what you want, right? So, but at the end of the day, when you actually do all of this, and all you just need to do is to just come here. So if you see here now, we are no longer manually putting user.this.this.com email. We are not putting email. We just come here and send, and our test result pass. So if for any reason any of these fails, you know that the API is having issue. That's fact, and that is the essence of automating API. I don't know if am I making sense. When you're automating API, it's not for fun. It's actually just to gives you signal that something is failing on the API whenever each of these tests fails, right? So I want us to go and automate this process. That is our assignment. Please, let's take this assignment very, very serious. I want everybody that is in this class to do this assignment and submit it before Wednesday. On or before, try as much as possible to submit it on or before Wednesday so that it can be vetted before the next class. I beg you, right? So now here, you are not going to, so what you just do here is to reference that random variable. You don't do anything here. Reference that which we have done before, right? Because that is that random email. That is what happened. This one went out. Then this OTP, what you now do, I'm just giving you a clue here. Remember that OTP has been generated here. OTP has, where's our body? OTP has been generated here. So what I want you to do is set this OTP now. It's going to be easy now. Set, because it's on response body. So you are going to write your code, set this OTP, and let me give you a clue because most of you are going to be confused. It means that you are going to write this script inside this flow here, send OTP user, not inside verify OTP user, because you have to set it before you use it here. So you come here and continue from where I stop, set it. It's simple, just follow how to set. I've already done it here. Just follow this pattern, set, then give it your name, then the OTP that is being generated, from the response body, just set it. Then once you set it, you start seeing it here. The OTP. Until you see it here, you've not done it right. So go and do research. This is actually why you are here. Do research on how to make it right, get it right. Do research, get it right. Send your assignment down, please. Set your OTP, and then you now come here and pick that OTP. You now have this variable again. So it means that this OTP will now be picked directly from the environment variable. So it will be picking the OTP. Are you guys following me? Am I communicating? Thank you. So once you pick that OTP, then you can now a response. It means that OTP that is being generated, if I send this now, it's going to fail because this OTP is not for this email. Now let me hit it. You see, it's not. Let me save. It's not invalid OTP. Did you see that? Invalid. Try again. Invalid OTP. This OTP is not for this email. That it has picked the email from the environment, but this OTP is still static OTP. It's not randomly. It's not this email that was. It's not this OTP that was generated. Look at the OTP that was generated alongside with it. So set the OTP and then pick it here. Then let me pick this OTP. I won't even be able to pick the OTP set because I won't know it before time. So set the OTP. Then before that, let's go back. So first thing I have to do now is to go back to where we were. Yeah, so we do this again. I'm still going to have error, except I have to go back here and change it again. So you have, let me do that. So because I need to explain something to you guys. So let me remove this. Let me say sam@sam.com. So I have this OTP now sent, right? So I'll come here and change the email back to sam at sam.com and change the OTP and then send. Good. Now you're not logging. So once you do it right? Let's now go back to what it was. Yeah. Once you do it right, so here I don't want to be saying this again. This will now be calling the variable and the random email, which I've already done. Here now should be also be calling your your OTP, which you set yourself. Now I want you to go and set it. Now, once you've done it right, it will verify and log you in. Then you can now automate this. Assert these sections for me. Assert. Remember, this another this data now is on the object of its own. Now inside this data object, we have another object. We have another object, user object. So I want you to assert this and then assert this user object, right? So if you this is if we have this now JSON data, for you to reference this, it has to be JSON data for you to reference what we have here. Now, for you to now reference this object that is inside JSON data, you know what to do. It will now be JSON data dot whatever you want to. I'm literally just giving you all the expose, for crying out loud. So assert this for me, right? So that is our assignment. I want to believe that I've been able to do justice to this week curriculum. So if we have any question, thank you everyone. I appreciate. I really appreciate. Yes, thank you. So how do we submit the assignment? Yes, um, you have to reach out to Isioma. So will drop information on how to submit the assignments on the community, right? So that's not an issue. We'll reach out to Isioma. So let me unmute. So if anybody has anything to say, I'll just unmute. Okay, so we've rounded up. I want to stop sharing at this point. I want to stop presenting. So let's if anybody has anything to say. Yes, of course, you get access to the Postman collection. So does anyone have anything to, you can raise up your hand and unmute yourself and say what you want to say. If you have any question, I'm worn out